Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's Rise and Shine coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakaran. Of course, Ibiakaran is in Akwa Ibom State. We've been bringing you several conversations. We even touchlighted on, some issues being raised by our daily newspapers in Nigeria. All of this you can always find if you go back to our YouTube and Facebook page. We'd have all the conversations there just for you. But at this time, we'll be moving to our focus conversation this morning. Several things happening, and we're going to be looking at, President Buhari campaigning for Tinubu in 10 states, activities around APC campaigns. But then there are other issues on the floor that we'll also be looking at. And then we have a guest this morning who will be having this conversation with us. Comrade Ayodele Adewale, who is the State Organizing Secretary, APC Lagos State Chapter, immediate past Executive Chairman, Amowo Odofin Local Government, former Mobilization and Liaison Officer to late Chief Anthony Enahoro, led Pro-National Conference Organization, PRONACO, former Secretary to Professor Wole Soyin, led Citizens Forum, former Secretary to late Dr. Beko Ransom Kuti, led June 12 Coalition, former National Public Relations Officer of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, and former President of the Lagos State University Students' Union Government. He's joining us virtually this morning. Good morning, Comrade Ayodele. Good to have you on the show this morning.
Good morning, madam. Thanks for having me, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Yeah. Thank you so much. I think before we even go into the conversation of the president deciding to join in canvassing for votes for your principal, that's talking about the APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu, let's even take a swipe at what happened yesterday in the Ojota area of Lagos State, where we had the Yoruba Nation agitators clash with the police, and it led to the death of one person,
yes,
and of course several others injured. I think Comrade was one of the people that we had this conversation with some months ago.
Yes.
And but let's just hinge on that. What's your thought about what happened yesterday, and has peace returned back to the vicinity?
Well, it's rather sad that someone died during the occurrence, but I think an investigation needs to be carried out to know what led to that. Every man, every human being has the freedom to express themselves, but that freedom is not absolute. The freedom itself should be conducted under international best practice. There's freedom to protest and all of that, and the police also have the right to protect lives and property. But like I said, there should be an investigation to unravel what happened and what led to that mayhem.
Okay, so let's just hope that everything is being sorted out. But again, like a question I asked before, Uyai, while we're having this conversation, is this even the right time that we should be pushing for such agitations?
Come again, please.
I said, we talked about this earlier, and I was asking a question. Is this the right time, that these kinds of agitation should be pushed? Now we have INEC on one hand saying that the elections might just be mad if the insecurity in the country continues at this pace.
Well, agitation can come at any time. What is most important is dialogue, and for people to talk their way through. And if you want to agitate about anything, especially that concern things that involve a lot of people, then you must have a referendum to have people saying on it and for people to believe in it. So agitation does not have a particular timetable. It will come up at any time.
Okay, let's move forward now into our focus conversation.
So a couple of weeks ago, maybe over a month now, we had the president through his spokesperson, that should be Garba Shehu now, come out to say that the president will be campaigning for Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the APC, you know, very, very openly and intensely in the days to come. And just yesterday, we saw him begin to live out on that promise as he went to Yobe State to campaign for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Of course, also he lent a voice to the gubernatorial candidate there in Yobe State. So far, so good. How is this turning out? You know, there's a lot of question in terms of should we have had the president, you know, stand separate from campaigning for the APC presidential candidate, or is this a good enough push at this time?
Well, first and foremost, before the president became president, he belonged to a political platform. And even as president, he is the head of a political platform. And the case is, all over the world, there is nowhere a sitting president will move away or stand away or be lukewarm towards the interest of his political party. And you know, it's very important to also have longevity in government, in governance. And this is the only thing that sustains policies and programs of parties. It's not, he didn't come in as a sole candidate or sole person or an independent candidate. He came in on the platform of a political party. And as such, he has the moral obligation and responsibility to lead the party in this political struggle, for making sure that the APC continue to be in government and continue to dish out all people's policies, programs that will outlive the Buhari administration. And the Buhari administration also have short-term, middle-term, and long-term programs. And the only way to achieve the middle-term and the long-term programs is for the candidate of the APC to win the elections, come into power, and continue those programs. And that is the reason why you have the president coming to various political party campaign programs. You can also liken it to what happens in developed climes, like the US, in Europe, and other parts of the world, including China. You see that Xi Jinping has won severally on the platform of his party. And even as a president, he's still campaigning for himself, and the head of the party also campaigning for him. And the president before him, likewise, campaigned for him. President Obama campaigned for President Biden, and that's how it's going to be.
Okay, now, you know, the president has said that he's going to make sure, as part of his legacies that he's going to leave behind, make sure that he gives the country a credible, free, fair election. Now, him fronting the campaign of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, do you think that the essence of making that comment is fulfilled? Because this is more like a total endorsement now of the candidacy of Tinubu and Shettima.
Come again, the line wasn't that clear.
Okay, so I'm saying that the president over time has said that one of the legacies he will be leaving behind as he wraps up his administration is to make sure that he gives the country a good, fair, and credible elections. And that he'll also stand by the result of whatever the election turns out to be. But now we're seeing him in active participation and campaigning and canvassing for votes for the Tinubu Shettima candidacy. Now, do you think that, you know, that aligns with his legacy that he wants to leave behind? Because it's more like, I have endorsed this person. so let's go with this person?
Of course, of course. What the president is doing is to build institutions. And one of those institutions is our electoral framework, architecture, and all of that. With the introduction of the bill and giving independence to the INEC, I think the president has achieved that that purpose and that thing. Moving away from that, the president does not have any superficial powers on conducting elections. His powers is limited to his involvement in APC as a political party. So the president is the president of Nigeria, but belongs to a party and is the head of a party. He's not the head of the INEC. He's not the umpire. INEC is the umpire. The president is a player in this political field of play. So you can't not hold him to be having an upper hand over other political parties or candidates of political parties. He's only a party man. He's the leader of the party, and he has the historical responsibility to take part in this program as a Nigerian and as a party man. He is not the head of INEC. He has nothing to do with the conduct of the election.
So for you, this is a direct, what do you call it now, endorsement from President Muhammadu Buhari over the candidacy of Tinubu and Shettima. This is an endorsement.
Definitely, definitely. He has to endorse.
And is that like a very good thing for the polity of Nigeria?
Definitely. If he does not do that, then what he has done is anti-party.
Okay, then why do we have...
He can be punished for that.
Comrade Adewale, why do we now have a situation where there's so much clapback on the former president Olusegun Obasanjo endorsing the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi?
No, nobody from my party is holding him down on the preference of his choice. Those who are saying that particularly believe that he is an offshoot of the political party, and that is the PDP, and that the PDP helped him into power, and as such, he holds them that responsibility to support their candidate. You understand? So don't miss it. And besides that, you cannot equate him to other former head of state, military heads of states. They were not members of political parties.
But Olusegun Obasanjo himself was.
What?
But Chief Olusegun Obasanjo himself was, a member of the People's Democratic Party, having ruled.
Yes, that is what I'm saying, that he belonged to a political party. And aside from that, he has also said that he has resigned. He has resigned from being a member of any party, and that he will not take part in any political activity. So if he has reneged in the position he had opined on before, then it is left for Nigerians to take on him on the way they believe that their thoughts guide them.
Okay, well, still staying on the President Muhammadu Buhari's, of course, campaigning for Tinubu. We saw that when the flag off of the campaign started on the 15th of November in Plateau State, of course, the president was available on ground that day. And several days and, a couple of weeks, months after that, he was nowhere to be found. And the excuse at the time was that he was going to be giving, more attention to his work as the president of the Federal Republic. But as of now, in some quarters, it's more like the party has twisted the president into taking up these roles. And we have seen him pick out 10 states where he's going to be canvassing for votes for the president. And one will think, why did the president pick this state in particular to go for the campaigns?
You must understand that the scenario that we live in now, especially in our contemporary days, differ from scenarios where the president will have full time to get involved in political activity. There are still many work undone, unfinished, that require the president's attention. And campaign is not just a stopgap activity. It is very exhaustive, and it consumes a lot of time. And that is why the president has saddled his power, on the DT of the campaign group. And he gets seasonal reports, and they do go to meet him to reassess what they have carried out as activity. And as such, he has taken it upon himself that the 10 states that have been listed are states that he would want to put his full weight on. And some of these states also would require his political capital to be expended on them. And Adamawa, for example, is a state where his wife has come from. And as such, as an in-law to the Adamawa people, it is very important that he shows his face and carry a lot of people who have interest and support for him to be added to that of the candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu aspiration. So it has really boosted the campaign of the APC. And this goes to show that the winning in this contest for the APC is very, 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 very useful.
Okay, so something else we want to find out is having President Muhammadu Buhari on ground for these campaigns in these 10 states, what differences are we expecting in the conversations on the campaign grounds? Not forgetting that your principal Bola Ahmed Tinubu was in Kano a couple of days ago, and all he had to give at the campaign grounds was a 1-minute speech. What difference or impact are we expecting as the president, joins with all the activities he has as the president goes out campaigning for, the presidential candidate of the APC?
More like he said he just wanted to come and thank the people of Kano State and also dance.
Yeah.
But Conrad, I'm still going to come back to you on the issue of, the endorsement of Peter Obi, because I think I found something on your principle actually mudslinging, former President Olusegun Obasanjo. So I'm going to come back to you on that, but just go ahead with Uyai's question.
Well, what you should understand is that the platform created by the campaign will afford the president an opportunity to talk about projects that he has done and talk about the electoral promises that he made in the past, and assuring the people that as he passed on the baton by the grace of God to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as President of the Federal Republic and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, that his program would continue. And a lot of these programs are tied on infrastructure, economic reawakening, security, health, education, and empowerment, including energy, sustainable energy for the Nigerian people, and a lot more.
Is that really what we should be using our campaigns to do? Are those not conversations that Bola Ahmed Tinubu should be telling Nigerians? Why are we now having the president use another person's campaign grounds futuristic to tell us of the things he had already promised us at his time, not forgetting the fact that we have the Buhari-led scorecard activity already happening, which gives us the platform to hear of all the projects and all the things he's done in Nigeria?
Madam, campaign is about party. Whatever Mr. Buhari, President Buhari has done, they are program of the party. Whatever Asiwaju is promising to do is a program of the party. And when you get to the polling unit, what you are going to see is the logo of the party, not the face of the candidate. So it behoves on the present president and the incoming president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, by grace of God, to continue to campaign on the flag of the party. So it is not about self. It is a structural build-up and framework that the APC is working on. Tomorrow, madam, it will be you. If you relinquish your position as a presenter right now and decided to join the APC, and the APC in turn vote for you as their standard bearer, definitely you are going to campaign on the program of the party and not on your program. So, Mr. President and Asiwaju have not moved out of line. They have only worked within the framework of the party that have given them the opportunity.
Okay, now let's come back to endorsements, because when the president says in Adamawa State, he says, look, vote for the APC, vote for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The president, as we all know, garners a lot of support, you know. So everybody that believes in the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari will definitely queue behind Ahmed Tinubu as we speak. But again, there has been like a lot of issues, you know, coming on the heel of the fact that Chief Olusegun Obasanjo endorsed a candidate he believes in totality. And you were saying that your party never had a problem with it. But a few days ago in Edo State, in Benin, we saw that the presidential candidate of the APC said that Olusegun Obasanjo is an enemy of the state when he created additional local government areas and brought a power generation company from the USA to generate electricity. And then he went on to say that for endorsing a candidate like the Labour Party presidential, candidate now, Peter Obi, that makes him an enemy of the state. So what do you make out of this particular comment?
Come again, while we were talking, the line yanked off, and then I had to call your station back.
Okay, so fantastic. Fantastic. Now, what I'm saying is, as part of endorsements, President Muhammadu Buhari is endorsing directly now the candidacy of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Shetima. But we seem to have a lot of dust being raised when former President Olusegun Obasanjo endorsed the Labour Party presidential candidate. And just in Benin, in Edo State, where your party had a campaign, we saw Bola Ahmed Tinubu openly say that Obasanjo is an enemy of the state, and that is why he is endorsing somebody like Peter Obi.
Asiwaju will never put it narrative like that. He will speak on the line of issues. And I would have appreciated you quoting in verbatim what he actually said.
Now, when you say that he would never say such a thing like that, we had a campaign yesterday, I can't remember the state precisely now, where he was openly saying that Peter Obi is a stingy person. And that he made a narration that has to do with a mother that cannot feed her children and all of that. So, and this has consistently been part of the campaigns. Mudslinging has constantly been part of the campaigns of the APC.
Once again, Asiwaju did not involve himself in mudslinging. What Asiwaju would have said is that you don't save money when your children are hungry. You don't save money when your country is in a dire situation, requiring infrastructure, requiring a lot of sundry matters for you to put money into. That you keeping money in the bank does not amount to development. Those are statements that we hear from Asiwaju, not statement of mudslinging.
Okay, let's move forward though. Now, we were saying something about campaign promises of the APC under this particular administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, and the fact that the president wants Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to be his successor in order to form a continuum. Now, a lot of Nigerians have the concern about what has this administration done in terms of fulfilling its promises, that we would even be using it as a yardstick to promote the candidacy of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Shatima.
You see, governance is a continuum. And as such, whatever program, all the programs that this administration of the Buhari-led have done will also need longevity for many of them to be achieved. Some of them, like I told you, are short-term, some are middle-term, some are long-term. In the area of infrastructure, you will understand that, and you will also see, if you compare it to various successive administrations since 1999, this administration power more in the provision of infrastructure. You see, I did my NYC in Akwa Ibom State in New York at the office of the governor, Bureau of Science and Technology. I remember that going to Akwa Ibom, I was not going by air, I was always going by road, and the road were in a very terrible situation. And we only had a Niger that was so small that created a lot of hold-up that people would be there for several hours. Today you have the second line. Today you have the east-west road constructed. Today you have so many federal and state-owned roads that is controlled by the APC in place. Today you also have the security being more equipped, despite the fact that the criminals have also increased their tempo of attack. You see that the government of the Buhari administration is not leaving any stone unturned, and they are going full force against all of these insecurity matters.
We just had a kidnap. We just had kidnaps a few days ago, sir. In Edo State.
The same thing you have is dastardly security attack in the U.S. The same thing you have in Israel and many of these countries. You see, the major thing that matters is the response of the state, of the government towards this attack to surmounting them. We used to have a situation where bombs were thrown around in the state of Nigeria. But that is not the issue that is happening now. They have been contained. And that does not mean that
we can also say that while we do not have bombs being thrown in different parts of the country anymore, we could also say that you know, there's the new dimension in terms of insecurity, which is kidnapping. We are having the kidnappers of the Edo train kidnap, you know, demanding a 620 million naira ransom today. So more like kidnapping has become a business in Nigeria.
Madam, let me quickly respond. That gone are the days where people would kidnap people and several months they will not be rescued. The Nigerian police rose up, and Nigerian military and other state agencies rose up to the issue.
Comrade, it took several months for the March 28 train abductees to be freed. Several months. And that is one of the fears that is currently rising with the Edo train abductees also. Yes, once the issue happens, it seems like they are on the train. But it takes several months for us to, you know, wrap up the issue.
When it happened that time, it took time for those people to be rescued. But the recent one, it took a niche of time for these people to be rescued.
They've not been rescued, sir. They've not been rescued, and that's why the demand of...
Some of them have been rescued, unlike before, whereby nothing will be done.
How long is it going to take for the remaining people in their custody to be rescued? That's the question. We had this, you know, a similitude of this same activity with the Kaduna train issue.
People were rescued,
yes, one after the other, batches after batches, but it still took several months. And these are still some of the things that we can hound down and pound down on the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration for, in terms of how poorly they have fared in, you know, arresting insecurity-related issues.
Those are the issues that Ashwaji is coming to improve. Ashwaji has assured us that he will use more of technology, he will use more of his political capital to attract people from outside the country that will come to assist Nigeria to solving this problem. He will create more job opportunities for the Nigerian youth to get engaged in. Remember that an idle hand is the devil's workshop. The Buhari administration has moved us up in the bar. Ashwaju's administration will move us further to assuring that these matters are totally resolved.
Okay. Let's look at something very interesting, and it was part of what we discussed this morning. You know, but the president has always said that in terms of campaign promises now, but we find a situation where the president jets out of the country every now and then for medical tourism. Now, how do we want to continue, or how is your principal going to deal with those kinds of situations where the health sector is very, very deplorable and we have exodus of doctors leaving the country?
If we even calculate so far so good in the almost 8 years of President Buhari being on set, if we calculate all of the medical, leave he has taken, it amounts to almost a year of absence in his entire 8 years. And of course, do not forget that the health status of your principal has been in question for the longest time. So, in keeping with Janice's question, what is the hope for, the party, as it were?
Okay, so I think we
lost that call.
Yes, but we just hope that Comrade will get back to us very quickly as possible.
I'm back to you. I'm back to you. The line yanked off again. I have to fall back your thing.
All right, sorry about that.
Thank you, so sorry about that. Just before we wrap up the show, we have barely 5 minutes left. Just give us your thoughts on medical tourism and how Bola Tinubu will be, handling the situation. Because just like Oyai says, the president at every time, jets out of the country either for one medical issue or the other. And then again, just in addition to what you said, Bola Ahmed Tinubu's health seems to be a major concern to Nigerians.
Yes.
Well, you must appreciate that the president inherits a comatose health sector. And during the reworking and revamping of that health sector, he also had a serious health challenge that requires that he sought a more sophisticated health system in order to preserve his life, for him to be in office, to continue to do the work. And that is what happened. But I assure you that if you go around the Nigerian health facility right now, you will see a lot of improvement. And Ashwaji has assured us that he will work so hard to making sure that a lot of people who have gone for greener pastures in other countries return back to Nigeria.
But that is not the case, Comrade Ayodele. That's not the case. We have shouted the most at the top of our voice about the fact that doctors and nurses are leaving Nigeria in droves every month. We have accounted for over 200 plus, even in thousands, for nurses this
Plus the fact that resident doctors are saying that they even want to embark on a strike because some severance packages and
residency fees have not been paid since 2020.
Madam, I just told you that we recognize that fact. And Ashwaju, in his program, has said that he's going to work very hard, and he has put up structures to making sure that the health sector is rejigged, to making sure that the economy is rejigged for people to come back to Nigeria.
Okay.
And one thing you must understand about human dynamics and drift is that even if we have economic robustness in Nigeria, some people will still want to experiment or want to go to other climes to continue on their life. Likewise, a lot of people have also come into Nigeria to invest in the health sector. There are many health institutions that have come up in Lagos and across the country from other countries. I think we should also do a research on the number of people who have brought in their expertise in the health sector into Nigeria from other clients and all of that. But by this time next year, when we're talking, and by the grace of God, Ashwaji is president of Nigeria, we will review the health sector and you will give the APC a thumbs up.
All right, so just to wrap up, thank you for your time, but then a question that is very, very, pressing in our hearts as of now is that INEC is already waving a red flag, and it's saying if the pockets of insecurity continues and some of the issues that we have on ground, we might be looking at the elections shifted further than the 25th of February. What are your thoughts about this particular issue and alert raised by INEC?
Well, the flag that INEC has put up is only to show that we need to work harder. And I use your medium to also implore all Nigerians. So when you see something, you say something. The security operatives are on top of their games. They need more information in order to tackle this matter. The same thing happened in the U.S. If you study the election that brought Biden into office, the electoral system there also had a challenge to the extent that some people invaded the capital. So the same thing going on in Brazil. So Nigeria is not immune. What is important for us to do as the people of this country is to make sure that we continue to give security operatives information so that they can meet these issues at the birth and make sure that everybody is put in line.
All right.
The electoral process is an opportunity for us to elect leaders of our choice, elected representatives that will give out what we want.
So
we should take the avenue of this opportunity to be peaceful and do the right thing.
Thank you very much.
Vote for the APC.
Thank you very much, Comrade Ayodele Adewale. It's always a pleasure having you on our show. Thank you so much. On that note, this is where we have to draw the curtains. It's been a wonderful time. Yes, it's been a wonderful time. We'll see you again tomorrow. My name is Janice Cobham.
My name is Yanik, and thanks for being a part of the show. We'll definitely see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.